For over a decade, many peer-reviewed research studies at health and research centers around the globe have found that prenatal exposure to acetaminophen is linked to development disorders like autism or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. A number of people with a loved one injured by prenatal use of Tylenol have filed lawsuits for their injuries against the pharmacies that sold the products without warning about all the dangers. Several of the lawsuits have been consolidated into a larger case that may result in a settlement for people who have made a claim. The pharmaceutical industry has resisted pointing the finger at acetaminophen, which is known under the brand name Tylenol and is also an active ingredient in hundreds of over-the-counter medications. In fact, pregnant women and their families have been told that acetaminophen is the safest over-the-counter medication to take for pain during pregnancy. The FDA has warned consumers since the 2000s that Tylenol and products containing acetaminophen can harm the liver, but says that the data on acetaminophen's effects during pregnancy are still inconclusive. The FDA urges consulting with a physician before using any over-the-counter medications during pregnancy. But in 2021, a group of 90 scientists, medical experts, and public health professionals published a call for precautionary action in Nature Reviews. The publishers of the call to action said that many studies had linked acetaminophen to developmental disorders and urged that pregnant women not take any medication containing acetaminophen unless advised by a doctor. They also request that acetaminophen use be limited until further research is conducted. Acetaminophen is an active ingredient in more than 600 medications used to relieve mild to moderate pain and reduce fever. These are some of the over-the-counter medications that may contain acetaminophen. Note, every situation is different. These medications may not be responsible for your child's diagnosis or injury. This list does not include all products containing acetaminophen. Speak with a physician to discuss any concerns. Medical records can be consulted to understand how much acetaminophen a person took while pregnant. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is a condition that affects how a person perceives and socializes with others. The symptoms and severity of autism are different for everyone, so the condition is described as a spectrum. Symptoms of ASD can include routines, rituals, or sensitivities, discomfort interacting or communicating with others, speech challenges, and unusual bodily movement or focus of attention. But ASD can look very different depending on the person, and the condition may be more severe or mild. That's why autism is described as a spectrum. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, usually known as ADHD, is a condition that affects the ways in which an individual focuses and behaves. ADHD is the most common neurodevelopment disorder in childhood. Symptoms of the various types of ADHD may include inability to resist temptation, taking unreasonable risks, fidgeting, talking too much, frequently losing items or forgetting things, excessive daydreaming, challenges in getting along with others, difficulty with taking turns. Many of these behaviors are common. Children may have symptoms of ADHD or autism without having either condition. When the traits associated with ASD or ADHD present a problem in the child's experience in life and relations with others, they are often treated as a disorder. There is no cure for ASD, but early intervention offers therapies that can greatly help a child's development. Some children outgrow ADHD, but not all, and early involvement, therapy for children and parents, and medication in some cases can all be very helpful to families managing ADHD behaviors. The CDC advises that if your child has symptoms of either autism spectrum disorder or ADHD, you should have your child screened by a healthcare professional with expertise in neurodevelopmental disorders. Manufacturers are required to label and warn consumers of toxic ingredients or other dangers posed by their products. And when consumers haven't been warned, there are laws in place to protect those who are harmed. If your child displays symptoms of autism or ADHD, health experts advise you to have your child screened for ASD. More info is available on the CDC website. Courts are already considering cases filed by people with loved ones injured by prenatal use of Tylenol, which may ultimately result in a settlement for those who have filed claims. If your loved ones have been diagnosed with autism or ADHD that you believe was brought on by prenatal use of acetaminophen, you may want to consider speaking with a personal injury lawyer to understand your rights.